earlier this morning, there was a tweet that came out, which I want to share with you, that really wanted me to make sure I really helped everyone understand what is evidence. And there was a tweet put out by this, I consider him frankly an idiot, or a very foolish fellow. This guy, Tedros, his first name, from the World Health Organization. And what I want to share with you here is if you actually look at this tweet that this guy put out, he says, today, WHO has updated its guidance on who should wear a mask, when it should be worn, and what it should be made, and what it should be made of based on evolving evidence. So let me repeat this again. Today, WHO has updated its guidance on who should wear a mask, when it should be worn, and what it should be made of based on evolving evidence. I really want you to focus on this word, evolving evidence, okay? And if you hear his very, very dumb talk from a scientific perspective, he basically talks about, well, we thought about this before, now we thought about this, and he's trying to create policy for all of us, for the world for that matter, the World Health Organization, based on evolving evidence. Okay? So that word evolving evidence, what I can tell you is just bullshit. There is nothing in science called evolving evidence. And I talked about this yesterday, as I mentioned, but there's evidence or there's no evidence. Okay? Exactly. As Pauline Sim said, me this highlighter, evidence doesn't change. Exactly. Okay? So this is why this is such duplicity, or basically it's lying and manipulating people. And this is why you have a lot of people, as I did in my previous video, the masks, the cloth masks are frankly a lot of research written on this. They're 13 times more chance of getting influenza symptoms versus the medical masks. And together, the medical masks or the cloth masks are no different than a mosquito going through a net in terms of the size of the coronavirus aerosolized particles and the gap in those masks. So they're basically useless, okay? Now, in the old days, if you were sick, you isolated yourself, you quarantined yourself at home. That's how you took care of yourself. Those rules still apply. But we got a lot of foolish people running in the hot sun, 90-degree sun, wearing masks, thinking they're protecting people. And then you have this total fool, and I hate to say this, but I have to say this as a guy who studies science, putting this nonsense out, as you see right here, saying evolving evidence. And what they're doing is they're trying to backpedal, they're trying to tee us all up so they can still maintain their scientific credibility. But there's nothing in science called evolving evidence. The issue is there's evidence or there's no evidence. And again, I want to keep this brief. So what is evidence? Again, I covered this yesterday, but for those of you new, I want to arm you with real knowledge. So what is evidence? Well, there is a definition of evidence. So if you look at phenomenon taking place in the world, in the scientific method, which I've applied as a scientist since I've been working since I was 14 till today, 56, for the last nearly 42 years, in science, what you do is you run an experiment, you get data, and then you create what you think is occurring, and you create a model of truth, and that model will predict something. You know, if you wear a mask, you're gonna, you're gonna make sure none of the particles within you go out to someone else. That's a model based on what you've built of this thing called this mask. Well, what he's saying is, well, we're finding this, we're finding that, we're finding this. Well, the truth is that those masks are like a big mesh where anything can go through. So in science, when you do an experiment and you start predicting things, truth is if your predictions are unambiguous, okay? Truth is, which means whatever you're trying to assert based on what you think you have discovered from a model or your predictions from putting the scientific experiments together, whatever you're predicting, in order for it to be evidence, it must be unambiguously predicted. Unambiguously predicted. Unambiguously predicted. Okay? So everyone put those two words together. So if it's ambiguous, it's not evidence. You can't say, well, one day we think masks are good and another day we think they're bad. No, that means you don't know, okay? What we do know from the science that's been done to date, the cloth masks, when you put them around you, they really do not have that much of an effect because the virus can go through. We also know that the N95 masks, when people wear them, they do protect, but you can't wear them more than 2 hours. Those are for medical people, healthcare workers, and they cause headaches. That is also known. A lot of evidence on that. But to level set, what is evidence? And that's what I want to go over right now. I went over this yesterday, but I got a lot of questions from people really wanting me to further clarify this so everyone got clear on this. So what is evidence? Okay. So evidence, in order for something to be evidence, there cannot be ambiguity. It means evidence is something that is unambiguously predicted, okay? So Tedros of the who we know loves China, okay? He's the one who, along with the CDC and Fauci and Gates and Clinton, were part of this fear-mongering nonsense because they want to do mandated medicine, mandated vaccines. He is now saying, well, we have evolving evidence. Well, there is nothing called evolving evidence. And as by way of example, if you look at the world of climate change, the same fear-mongering has been done there. And so what they did was they said there's, evidence. In that case, they didn't use the word evolving evidence, but that's what they were essentially saying. They essentially said, we're going to model how much ice melts from the Arctic, how much ice is going to melt from the Arctic because of quote unquote climate change, the earth getting warmer. Well, so based on that, they went and ran a bunch of mathematical models, which was used as a basis of their evidence to get everyone afraid. And their mathematical models were telling all of us there's evidence that all the ice on the Arctic is going to melt, okay? We're in dangerous crisis. And they had evidence of this. Well, it's absolutely, again, bullshit, okay? It's not evidence. And what I want to share with you right here, if you look here, this is literally out of the IPCC's report. Let me make this a little bit bigger so you guys can see it. So the IPCC, as you know, is the organization which is the Intergovernment Panel on Climate Change. And they essentially had all different kinds of people come up with mathematical models to predict how much ice would melt on the Arctic, okay? So what you see is it's not everyone's predicting the same amount. That would be unambiguous prediction. But what they have is 21 different models, each predicting different levels of ice melting. So between the year 2000 and 2100, there's various lines. So this line up here predicts nearly 95% of the ice will melt. This model down here predicts nothing will melt. And this model predicts 50%, and so on. Basically, it's like the Baskin-Robbins ice cream flavor. There's a flavor for everyone. This is how degenerated science has become, because using this kind of thing, which no one goes checks, they're saying this is evidence. Well, frankly, it's completely ambiguous. It's ambiguous predictions. It is not evidence. Okay? That's what I wanted to share with you very briefly. Again, evidence is something that is unambiguously predicted. So let me end this here. So going back to this fellow, going back to this fellow Tedros, he has a lot of gumption, a lot of arrogance, or frankly thinks everyone else is stupid, which unfortunately the educational system has made a lot of people ignorant, using the word evolving evidence. We have evolving evidence on masks. And this is how manipulation takes place. They fundamentally change the definition of evidence. But evidence, I want everyone to know here, is unambiguous predictions. That's why I did that tweet. And I think when I go to that tweet, let me see here, I think it's done quite well. I'll share this with you. Let me go back here. It went well because people in their gut know something is not making sense. And if you can look right here, what I said in my tweet was, I said, this idiot, Tedros Adhanom, has zero idea of the definition of evidence, quote unquote evidence. There's nothing called evolving evidence. That means he has no evidence. The definition of evidence, according to real science, is unambiguous predictions. If there is ambiguity, it is not evidence. Okay? So very short video today. Again, everyone, I will be putting out a video. We may be doing it later tonight. We're getting it put together of the amazing walk we had. Nearly 100 people showed up. We went into the North End. It was a march we did. Very friendly, very peaceful, a lot of love, a lot of laughter, built a lot of community, boosted a lot of people's immune systems. Let me take any questions if people have any. Exactly. Someone said, Jen, if there's anyone who has any questions, please ask. Shannon Llewellyn. Sure, I don't have one. Let's what Shannon Llewellyn said. I'm not sure what Shannon said. Let's see, anything else? Masks make more people sick. That's true. What we're finding is those N95 masks, healthcare workers, they're finding more and more headaches occurring. Okay, so we do know there's evidence that headaches do occur when you wear them. It's like you wear them too long. It's not you don't get headaches. There are people who are getting headaches. Thank you for all your time and your efforts to help us learn. Be more. God bless you. Okay, any other questions? By the way, people know that given the popularity of my videos, those in power have gotten very, very concerned that the truth I'm sharing, the science I'm sharing, is having an impact. So you'll notice that my Twitter feeds get wobbly. You know, people attempt to go on YouTube or people are censoring stuff. So that's what happens when you tell the truth, okay? So whatever ways you can get it out there more, do it. But we also have our own solution we're going to be coming up with shortly. Any other questions? Someone said, will you come to UK? Sure, invite me. I'll be there. I love the United Kingdom. Great people. Why are the beaches still closed? Good question. If you go look at in my Twitter feed, there's a very powerful video when we did our march today of a woman who's a small business owner, a woman who's worked very hard to put her salons, how her salon is completely being destroyed. There's no rational reason. She says salons for years have done the hand washing, have been hygienic. Why is it when she's already been doing that, why is her business being shut down? And when you really unravel all of this, what the evidence shows is that all of this is being done to destroy the small business owner and elevate the big business owner. That's what the evidence shows. 39 million people, 38 million people are out of work. You found all the small businesses got shut down. Most of them, 99% of them, the big guys, McDonald's, all those guys got to continue. All right. So please be armed with what is evidence, unambiguous predictions. Don't be fooled. You guys should now have the wherewithal to call these people out. And what's happening in the world today is people are taking advantage of people's lack of knowledge of science. They're making up fake science. That's what's going on. And just be aware that I'm going to be calling them out and we'll be educating people. Small businesses are the targets, etc. All right. Well, anyway, thank you, everyone. By the way, if you guys would like me to do any particular video topics that's of interest, someone said, what is the definition of the deep state? I'll be doing that. Please email me at vashiva@vashiva.com. That's my personal email. It comes right to me, no intermediaries, vashiva@vashiva.com, and I will incorporate that. But in closing, please remember that we have a very powerful movement that's occurring globally that we've unleashed truth, freedom, and health. In Massachusetts, it's manifesting its form in my running for Senate. The winning of that campaign will be enormous, like a nuke went off for those in power, who we call the deep state, the military-industrial academic complex. So in closing, please tell your friends about our campaign. If you're outside of the United States, let everyone know what we're doing in Massachusetts. If you're inside of the United States, you can go right here and support the campaign, donate, volunteer, whatever way you can. And for those of you who are outside of the United States and people have written, hey, I still want your body, your system, those tools, you can literally go to yourbodyyoursystem.com directly, and you can also take advantage of it. So, but those of you in the United States, go to shivaforsenate.com. Those of you outside who want to take advantage of the books and the tools, that's still available for you. Anyway, be well. Keep an eye out for everything we're doing. And again, let me know if there's particular videos you'd like me to do. Thank you very much. Be the light. Be well. Have a good night.